Mother Nature spent 4 billion years engineering the ultimate survival machine, only to equip it with a built-in self-sabotage button that leaks salty water from its eyes when its feelings are hurt. We are the apex predator of this planet. We split atoms, manipulate genetic codes, and launch metal canisters into deep space. Yet, if a stranger makes a mildly critical remark about your clothes in public, your brain immediately initiates a physical emergency protocol. Your autonomic nervous system dilates the veins in your face, blood rushes to your cheeks, your skin turns bright red, and your body temperature spikes. You experience blushing, a physiological response that serves only to advertise your internal panic and submission to everyone in the room. It has zero survival value. It is a beacon of vulnerability that you cannot control or fake. Even worse is our capacity for emotional weeping. Humans are the only animals on Earth that shed tears of grief, anger, or joy. When you are threatened or distressed, your brain actively impairs your vision with liquid, alerts nearby predators with loud vocalizations, and wastes valuable hydration. In the wild, crying in front of an enemy is the equivalent of handing them a weapon. From a strict Darwinian perspective, these behaviors are catastrophic design flaws. Natural selection ruthlessly purges traits that reduce an organism's survival efficiency, yet humans remain saddled with an emotional toolkit that actively sabotages our physical well-being. We feel grief so intense that we stop eating, sleeping, or defending our territory. Charles Darwin himself was deeply troubled by these reactions, writing that emotional tearing was completely useless. But Darwin was missing a critical piece of the puzzle. There is a hidden, darker biological mechanism behind these paralyzing emotional states, a secret protocol built into our genetic code that we will explore in detail. To understand why your brain deliberately tortures you, we must first analyze the sheer metabolic cost of these evolutionary glitches. The physical cost of human emotion is not just a metaphor, it is a measurable biological tax. When you experience a severe emotional shock, such as the loss of a romantic partner or a close family member, your body does not just register sadness. It triggers a massive release of stress hormones, including cortisol and adrenaline. This surge is so intense that it can physically deform your heart. Cardiologists call this Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, or broken heart syndrome. The left ventricle of the heart balloons outward, weakening the cardiac muscle and occasionally causing acute heart failure. In any other species, an organism that experiences heart failure because its mate died would be instantly eliminated from the gene pool. But human biology tolerates this liability. Consider also the state of clinical depression. It is characterized by lethargy, loss of appetite, and social withdrawal. In a hunter-gatherer environment, these symptoms are a death sentence. A depressed hominid does not forage for food, does not guard the camp, and does not seek mates. Yet genetic studies show that the risk alleles for depression have not been selected out of our genome over millions of years. Instead, they remain highly prevalent. The energy cost of maintaining these emotional states is staggering. The human brain consumes 20% of the body's entire energy budget, while representing only 2% of its weight. When you are locked in an emotional crisis, your brain consumes glucose at an accelerated rate, leaving you physically exhausted. Your immune system suffers as well. Chronic stress from grief suppresses white blood cell activity, making you highly susceptible to pathogens. Your ancestors survived ice ages, saber-toothed tigers, and global plagues, yet their descendants can be physically incapacitated by a bad breakup or the death of a domesticated animal. To find out why natural selection allowed this expensive, dangerous machinery to persist, we have to look closely at how our ancestors organized themselves. The answer to this riddle lies in the transition from solitary survival to hypersocial group living. Millions of years ago, human ancestors made a high-stakes evolutionary gamble. They abandoned the physical safety of dense forests for the open savanna, relying on collective defense to survive. A single hominid on the savanna was easy prey. A coordinated group of hominids was an apex predator. This shift created a new, far more dangerous environment, the social landscape. In a tribe, your survival no longer depended solely on your ability to outrun a predator. It depended on your ability to navigate the complex social hierarchy of your peers. If the tribe cast you out, you died alone in the wilderness. Ostracization was a literal death sentence. Therefore, the brain had to develop a sensory system that could detect social danger just as quickly as a physical threat. Physical pain exists to stop you from touching fire or stepping on thorns. Social pain, like embarrassment, shame, and rejection, evolved to stop you from doing things that would get you expelled from the tribe. When you blush, your brain is not trying to embarrass you. It is executing a desperate automated damage control protocol. Blushing is an appeasement signal. It tells the dominant members of the group that you recognize your mistake, that you feel remorse, and that you submit to their authority. It is a biological apology that cannot be faked.
This brings us back to our central mystery. If these emotions are simply social signals, why must they be so incredibly painful? Why does heartbreak have to feel like a physical knife in the chest? Why can we not simply acknowledge our social errors intellectually without the devastating physiological breakdown? The answer lies in a brutal economic concept that governs the human mind, which we will finally unlock now.
The reason emotions must hurt is because of a concept in game theory known as honest signaling. In any social group, cooperation is highly beneficial, but it is also highly vulnerable to exploitation. Cheaters, liars, and sociopaths can easily pretend to be cooperative, reap the benefits of the group, and then abandon the tribe when crisis strikes. If humans could negotiate social contracts using only rational intellect, those contracts would be worthless. Words are cheap. Anyone can say they love you, and anyone can promise to defend you in a crisis. To solve this problem of trust, evolution bypassed our rational minds entirely. It developed emotions as biological commitment devices. A commitment device is a mechanism that forces you to act against your own immediate self-interest to prove your loyalty. This is why grief is so agonizingly painful. If you did not experience the physical horror of grief when a companion died, you could not genuinely value them while they were alive. Your brain forces you to pay a massive emotional tax to guarantee that your social bonds are real. If we did not feel the crushing weight of shame, we would betray our allies whenever it was convenient. Because the pain of social rejection is identical to physical torture in the brain's anterior cingulate cortex, we are physically compelled to cooperate. Our tears are the ultimate proof of sincerity. You cannot easily fake the dilation of blood vessels during a blush, nor can you easily fake the chemical composition of emotional tears, which contain high concentrations of stress hormones like prolactin and ACTH. Your brain is literally dumping toxins from your body to signal your authentic distress. By forcing us to experience genuine, debilitating pain, evolution created a system of communication that cannot be forged. This is the dark contract of human society. We must suffer to be trusted. This ancient biological contract worked perfectly when humans lived in nomadic bands of 50 to 150 people. In a small tribe, everyone knew everyone. Your reputation was your life. The painful emotional mechanisms of shame, grief, and empathy kept the peace and ensured mutual survival. But then, we did something evolutionary biology never prepared us for. We built modern civilization. We took a brain designed for Stone Age survival and plugged it into a global digital network of 8 billion strangers. Suddenly, the social triggers that once kept us safe became weapons of mass distraction. Today, when you experience social rejection on the internet, your ancient brain does not realize the critic is a nameless profile picture 10,000 miles away. It reacts as if your tribal elders are banishing you into a freezing, wolf-infested forest. Your face blushes, your heart races, and your body floods with cortisol. We are experiencing chronic, low-level evolutionary panic attacks over situations that have zero impact on our actual physical survival. We grieve for fictional characters. We suffer existential dread while looking at spreadsheets. We experience deep shame over mistakes made in front of people we will never see again. The very mechanisms that allowed us to conquer the planet are now driving us toward a collective mental health crisis. We are trapped inside an exquisite survival machine that is constantly trying to protect us from imaginary threats by making us feel thoroughly miserable. The ultimate irony of human existence is that our greatest strength is also our most painful defect. We did not survive because we were the strongest or the smartest. We survived because we were the most emotionally vulnerable. The next time you find yourself weeping over a minor setback or flushing red with embarrassment, do not blame your biology. Your brain is simply working exactly as intended, keeping you miserable enough to remain human.